And how did mom and dad handle that?
Huh?
How did mom and dad handle that?
Mom didn't seem too bad, but didn't seem to care. Oh, the parents are great. Parents are great. There's one time, we'll get into the recording right after this quick story. This one girl, she was just never be good in class, but she hated to do burpees. Burpees are always optional. If you misbehave, you're going to do burpees. And she's doing, I don't like doing, I go, you're making yourself do the burpees, right? So she's doing the burpees and she's crying while she's doing them. Looked like it was a fucking scene, if you didn't know the context of it, right? Grandmother walks in, sees it going on. I look at the grandmother's face. She looked at me like she was going to blow up. This is her. She goes, good. She's lazy. Make her do the burpees. I loved it. Right there, I realized that the parents all want this. They bring there for a reason. They know the kids, they know we're not playing tennis. They're going to get bumps and bruises. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be disciplined. They have to behave themselves in class. There's levels of it, though. There's warning, burpees. Some kids think the burpees are fun until they do 30 of them. And they're like, these aren't fun anymore. I'm like, yeah, they weren't fun to begin with. Anyways, okay, let's do it.
That's supposed to be fun.
That's supposed to be fun. But kids will be kids. That's what my instructor always tells me. Ready, Matt? Right? Yeah. Rock and roll, baby. Here we go. Looking for the perfect grooming experience for your pup? Welcome to Carley's Fairy Tale Dog Grooming, located at 8 North Main Street in Pittston. We offer boutique-style grooming with a focus on quality over quantity. Your furry friend will enjoy a cage-free, stress-free environment where they will feel comfortable and pampered. At Carley's, we make sure every dog leaves feeling and looking like royalty. Call 541-410-9582 or stop in today to book your appointment at Carley's Fairy Tale Dog Grooming. Genoa Wholesale Foods, supplying quality since 1947. For over 75 years, Genoa Wholesale Foods has been your trusted partner for premium food supplies. Specializing in services to pizzerias, Genoa also caters to restaurants, bakeries, delis, and bars throughout northeastern Pennsylvania. They proudly offer a blend of both private label and national brands, helping you find the perfect products to meet your restaurant needs. With local deliveries and the care of a family-owned business, they are committed to making your success their priority. Choose Genoa Wholesale Foods for reliable, top-quality restaurant supplies that keep your business running smoothly. Genoa Wholesale Foods, locally owned and operated for 3 generations. Call Genoa today at 570-823-6142 or visit them online at www.genoafoods.com. Welcome to Food Fight. I'm your host, Brian DiMattei, and we are here at the Conversion Works Arena. I'm going to start calling it the arena now. This is a Food Fight podcast. So we're not a studio. It's going to be the arena from now on. I meant to say it last episode. I did not. But I'm here with my special guest today, Matthew Moss from Moss Family Farms and Bistro, hailing from Shickshinny, PA, out of Middletown, New York. Matthew, welcome to Food Fight.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
You are welcome. I'm glad you're here. We finally got here. I had a little cold a few weeks ago. Screwed everything up. I was dying for a little while. I was on the episode of Getting to the 570 with Frank and these guys here at Conversion Works, and the whole episode was 3 hours long, and all I hear is my stuffy nose congestion voice. I'm like, who the hell is going to listen to this for the next 3 hours? So hopefully some people did.
Hopefully.
You have a good ride down here?
I did.
Good. I see you brought some food. I was at your spot a few weeks ago with me and my girlfriend, Bridget, and we really had a great time.
Excellent.
Food was excellent. I'm glad you're able to come down here and tell us a little bit more of it.
Sure.
I see the chili in the middle of there. Chili was the highlight of my lunch. Had that little bit of sweetness to it. It wasn't super heavy. Had a nice sweet finish too. I don't like spicy stuff, so I like a little spicy stuff. For an example, me and my buddy Mike did 2 Texas Wiener reviews last week, or the other day, with Keystone Restaurant in Scranton. Okay. You familiar? And then the Green Ridge newsstand around the corner on Green Ridge. So Keystone was more traditional, a little bit of sweetness to it, nice fresh national bun. The bun was so fresh on there, you could pull it apart, right? Then we went down the street up to the Green Ridge newsstand, had Texas Wieners, and those were spicy. You bite into that, I started to sweat a little bit, had a little kick to it. It was really good. It was the first spicy Texas Wiener sauce that I ever had.
My chili sauce does have a little bit of a kick to it for the hot dogs.
I wasn't there that day for the hot dogs. You gave me, I knew. I didn't post a review yet. I'm going to post a review the week of our episode. I was saving it. But I knew And it was nothing to do with the cheese on there or anything to do with your food because everything was great. But I knew I wasn't going to like that cheese sauce on that hot dog.
I pushed you to eat it.
But you were like, no. I'm like, all right, bring it out. And then my girlfriend's like, just try it. She knew I wasn't going to like it. And I knew I wasn't going to like it. And what happened? I don't like it. Hot dog was good though. When you cut a hot dog up and you place that bad boy on the flat top,
it's a little crispy.
You get that little crisp on there. That's a good fucking hot dog.
Makes it a little saltier.
Yes. I love salt. We just had chili dogs from Sheets.
Okay.
How do you think they went?
Probably not so good.
They weren't horrible, but they weren't good. So they were edible. Like I didn't spit them out. You know what I mean? But they were.
So it's not like pizza at the Chinese buffet?
Oh, that pizza at the Chinese buffet was just awful. That was my second go around. Now, are you a Chinese buffet fan?
Not so much. I enjoyed going with the kids just so that they can have a selection, and I don't know.
How old are your kids? You mind me asking?
So I have a 12-year-old.
Okay.
An 8-year-old. He'll be 9 in 3 weeks, and then I have a 5-year-old.
Well, you're a little over the place there. Good for you.
Correct. So it's like a 3-year age gap between each one.
Yeah. I like that a lot. All boys? Said?
2 boys and a girl.
I apologize.
The 5-year-old is a girl.
Okay.
And she's definitely our...
she rounded the family out, huh?
She's our challenge.
Good for you. Yeah?
Yeah.
You were thinking about getting her in some jiu-jitsu classes?
Eventually, honestly, I do want to get them all into something.
Well, you know exactly what it does for the kids. You know exactly what it does for the kids. Want to bring them all in? We have family plans. We're
just got to fit it into our schedule.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. Completely understand that. There's a fun fact about Shickshinny, where your place is from up there. You probably know this, known as the 5 Mountains.
Correct.
So do you know a little bit about that?
Some, yes.
Get into it a little bit for me.
So I believe it's where the 5 mountains meet. Mm-hmm. And it is borderlines the Susquehanna River. If you look at the river, there is a huge island in the middle, and that's also why a lot of times Shickshinny will flood because the water will actually get tied up there. Oh. And instead of it continuing to flow, the island stops the water and then it pushes it into the town. The last big flood, I believe, was 2011. And then we have a lot of local places that utilize that 5 mountain name. We have the 5 Mountain Outfitters. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. He does Susquehanna River tours. On kayaks, we have the brewery across the street actually from me.
Mm-hmm. There's I was up there, beautiful drive coming up the back way there. It was really nice. Mm-hmm. I think the back way was the only way to get in there.
Would you go to 11?
I went, by the river, by that one long road. Just go straight.
Route 11.
I left my house on Pierce Street, made a left on Wyoming Avenue, and just went straight. And then the GPS fucked me up. I brought me around the corner there a little bit, but then I came back and I found your spot, and happy that I did. There's a little museum right next to your spot.
There is. Above me,
I can't remember what it was.
It's the Historical Society Museum above me. Okay. And then next to me, I also have a children's library.
Children's library. Okay.
So I'm actually part of the Historical Society building.
It's an old building.
Yep.
You can tell by the way it's set up. There's 100 rooms, and they're all small. It's like how they made the rooms how they made the houses back in the day.
So back in the day, the Bistro was actually a house or someone's apartment. So like the kitchen was probably the kitchen. There's the bathroom, and then there's the side rooms that were the bedrooms, and you can definitely tell. And then in roughly like 15 years ago, it became a consignment shop, and then that was sold, and then about 5 years ago, it became another little cafe.
Okay.
And then they ended up leaving, and then I came in.
We're gonna circle into that as well.
Sure.
There's a famous actress from Shickshinny.
There is.
Christine Ritter.
Okay.
Now that was the wife in Breaking Bad, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I looked up some cool stuff on there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm almost certain that is the wife, the blonde.
Okay.
And I didn't really care for her character. But you ever see that show?
I watched most of it.
It's a good show.
I'm now into Shameless.
I never finished it. I watched the first 9 seasons.
Oh, I'm on season 5.
Yeah. How fucking good is Shameless?
It is good. Every time you're like, what? How much more can they get fucked up? It's something else new.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Fiona.
Yeah.
My girlfriend reminds me of Fiona a little bit. But yeah, great show. Great show. It's just so Frank's out of his mind. Oh, it's a great show. It just keeps getting better, Matt. Keeps on getting better. Fiona does leave the show in season 8 or 9.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Oh, I thought maybe we would do that.
No.
I'm so sorry about that. Well, you're going to find out eventually.
Well, I also like...
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I like the one that plays Lip.
Oh, yeah. He's funny. Yeah, he's funny. His character. I've seen him at a jiu-jitsu tournament in New Jersey or New York last year. He came in, he was watching his buddies train. He just came in by himself, walked in and walked out. I didn't say anything to him, but it was definitely 100% him.
I do like the bear, and then I'm a huge Springsteen fan.
Okay.
And he's doing a biopic of Springsteen in one of his albums.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I love movies about rock stars or musicians, like, any type of movie like that. You ever see the actual movie with Mark Wahlberg called Rockstar? Him and Jennifer Aniston?
No.
It's a good movie. It's a fictional band, like a rock and roll band, kind of like Kiss or whatever you want to call it, like a rock and roll band like that. And he's a big fan. He does a cover band, and then his voice is real good. And then the lead singer for the actual band, like he wants to leave it, looking for a replacement, and they heard his voice. And they call him up and they give him a tryout. He actually becomes the lead singer of this band from his childhood that he loves. And the movie goes crazy from there.
I'm gonna have to see it.
Really, really good. Rockstar, him and Jennifer Aniston are the stars of that movie. Really, really good. So speaking of rock stars, you went to a rock star culinary school.
I did.
You went to the culinary school.
Some say the, yeah.
Yeah,
it's the top two.
Yeah.
That and then Johnson & Wales.
Right. So you went to the CIA and not
Correct.
the Central Intelligence,
Nope.
but the Culinary Institute of America.
Correct.
Which was created specifically to showcase American cuisine.
Correct.
Do I have that right?
American and then French cuisine.
Okay.
Yeah.
American and French cuisine. It was created by an American and a French chef, I believe.
Yes, and actually was created by two women, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. I was watching a little bit of stuff on it the last couple of weeks or so. As I know you mentioned that you went there, and then I asked you again, and when I asked you a question, but I remember that you told me that before. So let's get into a little bit of a story beforehand.
Sure.
Because I know for me personally, I had every ambition to go to Johnston & Wales in Pittsburgh, correct?
There's one in Pittsburgh, yeah.
So when I was
New
young,
England.
so when I was younger, when I was younger, so I was in school, I graduated high school in 2000. Supposed to graduate in 99. Now I didn't work in the restaurant business yet, but in my freshman year, I made a decision that I was going to go to Votech for culinary first half of 10th grade and then go back to school for other grades, right? So that was my plan, to go to culinary Votech for 3 years in high school, and then go to culinary school afterward. That was my plan. I already visited Keystone College when they put their culinary institute back in, with culinary classes back in and all that kind of stuff. So it's either going to be Keystone for a little while or Johnson & Wales. CIA would have been like a financial stretch for me, right? So that was the plan. Then I failed my freshman year, so I missed too much school. So I didn't go to Votech. I couldn't yet. I was in 10th grade yet. But then I started working at, you remember Marvelous Mugs in Music?
No.
By Channel 16?
So we moved to the area in 2017.
Okay, so that was not there then. Okay, so up where Malzoni's is by Channel 16.
Okay.
So up at the mountain there. So there used to be a restaurant was built there. Originally was called Marvelous Mugs. Opened in the early 90s. I worked there for over a decade, right? I started working there as a busboy at like 14 or 15 before they changed their work laws. I saw how crazy the fucking kitchen and the chefs were. How much work they were doing, right? How busy we were. And I was like, I don't want to do that, right? So luckily, I didn't do that, but I did love the restaurant. I loved the front of the house of the restaurant. So real quick, like I worked in the restaurant business for a long time. It was 25 years. I did everything from management, dishwashing, being a cook, all that kind of stuff. And I just knew that back of the house wasn't for me. I was more front of the house. I want to be in front of the guests. What turned you into a back of the house? I'm the chef, I'm running the show kind of guy. Like where did that come from your childhood and all the way up?
So as a childhood, I remember vividly in the kitchen with my mother, making food, making dinner every night. And then I got a TV in my room, was right around the same time as the Food Network started.
Was your TV a big one
on
the ground?
It was a big clunker. Yeah, it was a big clunker. I got a TV in my room. It was right around when I first became a teenager probably. Okay. And the Food Network was the newest, biggest, greatest thing, and Emeril Lagasse. And I remember watching his show and going I can do that. Like, I like that. I could do that. I knew I was never going to be a bookworm and do a doctor or anything like that. Like, my brothers are both doctors, and I knew I was never going to do that. Mm-hmm. So I kept watching, and then the opportunity came up that back when I went to CIA, you had to have 6 months of some sort of restaurant experience before you could even apply. So I became a line cook at a Perkins in Middletown. And then probably about 6 or 8 months after I started, I applied to CIA, and it was the only culinary school I applied to. Got into CIA, and then soon after that, Perkins closed. And pretty much my whole high school career from there, most of my senior year, I actually worked at Dunkin' Donuts.
Real fast, Matt. Perkins, did the shop itself just like
that shop
because
closed.
I know that they went through some restructuring. They closed a lot of places.
Closed.
We used to have a lot of Perkins around here, like on 315.
Yeah,
remember that one is just sitting empty right now.
Yeah.
How did that one go out of business?
I don't know. That was a perfect spot.
What a
Right off
80.
80.
What a
81.
location! Boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom. I don't know.
I think they did a lot of restructuring. This is probably in 98, give or take.
Okay.
And they just one day decided they were going to close. And it was always busy. I remember working Sunday mornings and not leaving the omelet line for probably 2-3 hours.
Did they just shut down on you? Were you coming
it
to
was
work
pretty
one
much
day and
like,
they closed that?
It was pretty much a shutdown.
I hate that.
But luckily, we had friends that owned Dunkin' Donuts in the area.
Yeah.
So and it was actually closer to high school. I could almost walk. And I worked at Dunkin' Donuts for about 10 months, 11 months, and then I went to CIA.
How was Dunkin' Donuts?
It was fun. I, for the most part, worked in the front of the house.
Okay.
In the summer, I was doing that 6 a.m. shift.
So you got a good helping
Yeah.
of cooking, customer service before you went into
Correct.
a business where you need it. You're going to need both. I want to talk real quick about restaurants closing so abruptly. I was a manager at Damon's. You know Damon's Steakhouse. Yeah. Damon's. I was a manager at Damon's in Clark Summit for a short time before I realized that I was working for some not the best bosses. You know what I mean? The best employees.
I've been there, done that too.
So I left about 4 months, and I realized they cared more about a burnt baked potato than ribs going out properly, and they're charging their loyal customers for soda refills that pissed off like 3 or 4 people, and they weren't going to come back. And it was really, it wasn't managed right. It wasn't. I was expoer, Matt. Like they hired me as a manager. I expoed food every night. I can't run a restaurant. You can't run a restaurant when I'm expoing every night. The cooks wanted extra hours. I said to the buyer, I go, listen, why don't we just give the cooks, put them on rotation 4 nights a week. We need an expoer. Let them work a 4-hour shift. They want extra hours. Oh, no. We're working managers. I'm like, I understand that, but I have work to do. I can't expo food all night long. How much broccoli I have to take out of a fucking bag? You know what I mean? I realized that I was a mistake, Matt. My first couple of weeks there, a server came up to me and said, oh, table 14 is having a problem with the ribs. I'm like, okay, took my apron off. I'll be right out. I love talking to guests. Man, the guests want to see a manager now. They don't want to see a server. They don't want to see anybody but a manager now. The owner goes to me, oh, no, Brian. He goes, what? I go, we train our servers to handle guest complaints. I'm like, no, you don't. He goes, we do. I go, no, I'm actually saying no, you don't. He goes, the customers don't want that now. This is the guy who owned the chocolate factory, Mid-Valley Chocolate Factory, the Bush family. He owned Mid-Valley Chocolate and the hotel next door. He would come over and micromanage his managers. No, you don't go over there. You should go. You're better off going over there than the server.
As the owner, yeah,
and that was it. He didn't let me leave the line. He goes, no, we're busy here. I'm like, I could do 2 things at once. It was just, I go, the servers could come up and take their own food. We're not that busy. The servers could handle all of this. There's times for an expo. An expo is one of my kryptonite. I fucking can't stand expoing. You know what I mean? It was flowing good. Things are going well. All right. But you've been there. It gets frustrating after some time. You want to go on and do other stuff. Like I shouldn't be expoing food. I'm not above it by any means whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'll do anything in the restaurant. I'll clean the toilet if you need me to. Right. But there's better people to expo and the manager does something else. The manager manages every part of the restaurant, not just taking a plate out of the window. Right. But what I'm getting at is Friendly's across the street. Boom. They were open. Next day,
well, same thing in Wilkes-Barre now.
Yeah, all the workers were out there. They didn't tell them. You got to tell. How do you not tell the workers?
I mean, quite honestly, the one in Wilkes-Barre, I could see why they closed their doors.
What was going on with that?
I remember one time going in there and sitting there for easily 2 hours to get 2 hamburgers and some ice cream with my oldest.
Fuck that. IHOP was like that for a little while when they first opened.
We were at IHOP
What's that?
We were at IHOP a couple weeks ago. And
how was it?
It just wasn't good still.
Because they got new management. But what was your experience like in there? I haven't gone back.
It was like random things. Like I had to remind them I need this. I was like syrup for pancakes, and it took them like 10 minutes to bring syrup, butter, coffee.
Forgetting that stuff is one thing, I guess. But here's your coffee. Here's your butter. Here's your syrup. Really? I want to go try it again.
I can understand if the restaurant's busy. But it wasn't even that busy when we were there. I mean, and I do it all the time now. I mean, I'm serving.
Yeah.
I'm running the restaurant. I'm jumping back and helping my cook cook.
I get it.
And I understand screwing up and forgetting. Shit happens.
I agree.
I mean, everywhere I go, I always give them at least 2 or 3 shots. But
I'm the same way.
after the third shot, I'm like, maybe not so much.
First time might have been a mistake. Second time, you're like, third time was like, okay, this is how they do things here. You're from West Pittston area. Do you know Jimmy Elvis?
I do not.
He's doing
Is he the one that's
he's doing Elvis impersonator. He's doing a show he's doing a show at IHOP.
Oh.
So that should be interesting. He's like, there's new management. I'm like,
it's an IHOP.
It's an IHOP, but I mean, I like IHOP. I remember when they first came here, I was excited about it, but I did not have good experiences.
No,
I had one good experience when it was Pancakes Fever there. I had a good experience.
Okay.
But that was also 2019. So
I was right around when they first opened.
I haven't been back there since. I haven't been back there since. But a lot of good businesses on Route 315 there.
Yeah.
That's my Burger King spot on Monday nights. So I live in Kingston.
Okay.
But unfortunately, and if anyone that works at the Kingston Burger King, this is a public service announcement for that business, okay? You're in a great area being down there in Kingston, but I should have walked in there and having the manager telling the cook, put the fucking French fries down. That's why I walked in that. The drive-thru was busy. I walked in to get a Whopper. I walk in, I hear the manager going, hey, don't put those fucking French fries down. I tell you, put the fucking French fries down. I walked in and I walked right out. Who was she screaming at? You know what I mean? I got through the drive-thru more than once. They fuck up my Whopper every time. The one time I bought a Whopper, I get a Whopper with no mayo and no onion.
That's the one on the corner by Lowe's, right?
Yeah.
I remember sitting in line for
BK,
easily
and then Lowe's over there.
20 to 25 minutes for
I don't like bashing businesses, but when
Neither
you're
do I,
listen, but you're one, it's a chain, and two, you have a blueprint for success.
Correct. It's a
Just
business.
make it the way it's supposed to be made.
And they're multi-millionaire, billionaire company.
It comes down to bad management that don't care. And what happens there? Corporate not being smart enough to realize what's going on with their manager, okay? You don't fuck up. You can't fuck up a Whopper. You're fucking up on purpose. So I brought my Whopper home. I accidentally dropped it on the ground. It fell on the ground. I broke my thumbs. I drop shit all the time now. I don't know what it is, right? I don't know if my thumbs are not there sometimes. Drop it, it falls, explodes. There's mayo and there's cheese on it. 2 things I asked not to be on there. So I packaged it back up. I brought it back. I got my money back. I never went back. I go, you could keep it. I go, no, just please throw it away. Got my money back. I never go back. It's just chaos. So I go to the one on 315. I work down on the boulevard. So I go over to 315 Walmart. BK, super nice. I get the best Whoppers. Also the Whoppers in Wyoming Burger King. My girlfriend brings me them once in a while. Monday nights is Whopper night. Oh, I love them. What's your favorite fast food?
Usually a McDonald's kind of guy.
What's your order?
Double quarter pounder with cheese.
They're good.
Yeah. No onions.
I get taste. Oh, no onion. I like the onions on
I don't like the raw
onions
onion
on McDonald's. I like my onions on. I don't mind. You get mustard on there?
No, I do not like the mustard, but there are times that I've gotten with mustard.
And
So that goes back to what you're saying, is that it's like you should be able to get a double quarter pounder cheese here, and in California, and it should be the identical same burger. It's a multi-billion-dollar company.
Mistakes happen, but we just fucking read the ticket. I used to work on the line too. I get it. But it happens way too often. That's the problem.
It gets to the point that I want to know, is it supposed to have mustard or is it not?
Yeah.
Because I don't like yellow mustard.
Yeah.
I think it should be abolished.
Really?
White, like yellow
I love yellow
mustard?
mustard.
No.
I'll take yellow mustard over spicy mustard.
I would do golden spicy mustard, Dijon mustard anytime. Honey mustard even.
I like yellow
I do
mustard.
not like
Brian, you like yellow mustard? Like any mustard you don't like? No. I'm not a big spicy mustard guy.
I'm not a big
I got
fan
my
of
Texas wieners. Like we went to Coney Island in Scranton. Classic place. They were really good, but they had spicy mustard. So it took away from the Texas wiener. Yellow mustard for me on there. So you get no mustard. You get spicy mustard on Texas wieners?
Spicy mustard.
That's fair.
The best is a grilled hot dog with some golden spicy mustard on a bun. Done.
I love grilled hot dogs. My mother used to make, I still make it to this day, hot dogs and rice. She would cut up hot dogs, little spices, fry pan, brown them up, can of tomato sauce, salt, pepper, over rice. Really
Never
good.
tried that
Yeah,
one.
really good. It's really good. I love cold leftovers. All right, we detoured about the places closing just like that, which is so rude. Tell your employees you're closing.
Correct.
I can't imagine why they, you know what's fucked up too? Marvelous Mugs. Now I worked there for over a decade. They closed I left there in 2008, but they closed just a few years ago. And I had a few friends that worked there. That's what they did. They went there,
Shut down.
And I'm surprised by that because I don't know if you know Frank Hubbard from Hub Management. Frank Hubbard was a big
Name sounds familiar.
So he built those 2 hotels up there. He built Marvelous Mugs. He used to own Panel Prints back in the day. Then he got into the restaurant business, and then he owns a whole bunch of different stuff. Great guy. I worked with him for a long time, but I was very surprised that the owners of that place did it that way. I'm very surprised by that. I worked there for a long time, and me and management got into it. I was hanging out. I was friends with my manager, and that was a bad mix. It turned into a bad mix. I was bartending a lot. People were getting fired. I was being overworked, and I'm like, I demanded days off instead of like asking for days off, and like that's how our friendship was. But then it turned into like we can't work together anymore, and I left. But things happen for a reason.
And then if you're friends with your manager, usually sometimes you feel like you're being used because you're a friend of theirs, and they know that you're not going to say no to them.
Right, and that's where
I've done that too.
And that's not and that wasn't his fault. It wasn't my fault. It's both of our faults for getting ourselves into that relationship, golfing and smoking together and hanging out and being goofs. And then when it comes to work, he's like, what do you mean you're not going to stay for me tonight? Why are you plans tonight? But I need you to stay for me tonight.
Correct.
Everything I do for you, fuck, here we go. So it just turned into that, and it was unfortunate.
Exactly.
I was doing really well there, but times changed and new opportunities arose. Where were we headed? You were working at Dunkin' Donuts.
I was working at Dunkin' Donuts.
We're back.
Then I went to CIA. I did my first semester. And
tell us about that.
Quite honestly, things have changed since I've been in culinary school.
Tell us about when you first, was that intimidating going there?
It was extremely intimidating because I was...
how old were you?
I was 19.
Okay.
Walking into... luckily, I grew up 45 minutes from Hyde Park, New York. So I was able to go home when I wanted to. Like I would go home usually most weekends because they were communal bathrooms and the first year. Hudson Hall, first year freshman. Well, it's 2 semesters. It's not even like freshman.
Yeah.
It was communal bathrooms. The water was never warm or hot. It was always ice cold. So I would do like one midweek shower, and then I would go home and like purge myself in the weekend and actually sleep. Then the weekends that I would actually stay at school, I was like trying to find a friend that lived off campus to use their shower. It was bad.
Did you have a roommate?
I did.
Was he good?
He was actually... I haven't spoke to him in a very long time, but he was a really good friend of mine.
Nice.
And
what's he? Do you know what he's doing now?
He is now, I believe, lives in DC, and I think he's like a food science.
Oh, that's pretty
cool.
Some
sorts, yeah. I have to reach out to him now.
Maybe he's the one getting rid of all the dyes.
Maybe.
For us, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
Just leave my Fruit Loops alone.
And then after that, I went to my externship at the Hotel Hershey.
Hotel Hershey?
It was in, give or take, the summer of 2000. And
was that in Hershey?
It was in Hershey, overlooking Hershey Park.
Oof.
I lived right across the street from Lightning Racer.
What a historic town that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I loved every minute of it. I was there during the summer. I remember Sunday morning brunches at the hotel overlooking the park. And like once the park opened, you could even literally hear the roller coasters whizzing by because it's right across the street.
That's pretty cool.
And it was awesome. And then I went back and did my last semester. My class was actually the first to open up the Caterina de Medici, which is the Italian restaurant at the CIA now. It actually looks a little like a Taco Bell, but it's supposed to be a very authentic Italian.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went into supermarkets.
I had that
in the beginning.
I had that here. So, was Culinary Institute 2 years?
It was 2 years.
2 years. So your first year.
It was a culture shock. It was like going from living at home to now living on my own, having to fend for myself.
And it wasn't even like your own bathroom. No.
Correct. And I honestly did not become the person I am until I actually went to college.
Okay.
And like was able to almost spread my wings. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But meeting the people I met, and now I'm like, looking back now, what I was at 18, I'm like,
it's amazing.
Nothing like this.
It's amazing how we evolve. People say, oh, people don't change. I disagree. People definitely change. People definitely change. Some for worse, some for better.
I look at my 8-year-old, and he is like the spitting image of me, but he's me now, not when I was 8 or 10 years old. So
you probably relate to this too when it comes to jiu-jitsu training, right? So my buddy Mike that was just here, he'd been training for almost 2 years. He's getting his blue belt. I'm going for my purple belt in a couple of weeks, right? He wasn't, up to about 3 months ago, he was not considered to get his blue belt from the instructor because he was too stiff, this, that, and the other. Right? He had to fix some things up, right? But now he made those corrections consistently, and he's ready for it. But I was telling him, because we got into it a little bit on our trip to Florida. I go, Mike, you remind me of myself. I was giving my own personal experiences. But he kept on, not just him, a lot of people in the beginning of their training that will compare themselves to other people. You can't. You can't compare yourself who's 40, being a competitor, training 7 days a week versus someone who's 55 years old, blue belt, trains twice a week, but goes through the promotions anyway because he's a hobbyist. There's two different types of training. There's a cook and there's a chef. They're completely different. Can't compare yourself to those. But people that start training, I used to do it too. Compare yourself. Oh, well, he's getting it. I deserve it too. No, there's different. We're looking for different things. I see it now too. We're looking for different things from you versus that person. You're not on the same level. You're on different. You might be same ranks, or he might even be a higher rank, but you're held at different standards.
100%.
I'm held at a different standard because I work for the school, and they don't give anybody a purple belt, especially if you work for the school. I'm an instructor. I'm going to be an instructor at the school. They make me. I had to wait an extra 6-7 months because I'm like, you're not ready for it yet. And I ask why, and like same thing with my blue belt 5 years ago. When you have 3-4 experts tell you why you're not ready for it yet, well, they know. And I have to listen to that. Even though I may not fully agree with it, but in the back of my head, I'm like, they're fucking right. You know what I mean? What's 6 more months? It's not like I'm going anywhere. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, 100%.
Yeah, it makes, and it's just, so, I don't know. I forget where I was going with that, but you got into the supermarkets, all right?
Correct.
So you came out of the CIA.
Came out of the CIA.
Yourself, and you're like, what do I do now?
I worked at a restaurant for about 2 weeks and then decided it was not for me.
What happened there? The restaurant itself?
It was a restaurant itself. It was actually a brand new restaurant that was opening up. It was, I want to say, a Dominican restaurant. And this little old white boy was going to be the chef at a Dominican restaurant, trying to learn their recipes. And I just knew it wasn't going to work out.
Why wouldn't they hire someone that was trained in that style of cooking?
You would think so.
I would think so. Opening a new restaurant is stressful.
Yes,
I've been a part of a lot of chain, like opened up a lot of Red Lobsters in the state back in the day. I was part of Roots Chris original staff at the casino, so that was my first fine dining.
So you worked for Mets?
Yeah, you did too, right?
Yeah, Misericordia.
Yeah, so we'll get. Yeah, I had that down. We'll get into that, but that was my first fine dining adventure. So you worked at a little Dominican restaurant for 2 weeks, and you said,
give or take 2 weeks, and I realized it's not working.
How'd the restaurant do itself?
I don't think they lasted much more than a couple months.
That's unfortunate.
And then folded.
A couple months?
Yeah, and then folded.
You think they went wrong with the chef?
I think they honestly found a guy that was Dominican and knew how to make all these different foods. I mean, looking back now, fresh out of culinary school, you think you're a badass, but
at least you knew that you knew it was going to be a good fit for you. Just think of where that could have took your direction in your career.
Correct. So then I ended up leaving and going to work for Food Emporium, which was owned by A&P at the time in New York.
Okay.
And worked for them for several years as a chef. And I saw the writing on the wall because it was unionized and they were starting to close stores. So I decided to leave and went to Whole Foods.
Okay.
And I spent 5 years at Whole Foods.
Is that
market.
where you did the prepared food department? Okay, let's get into that.
So
I want to talk about that.
I worked my way through Whole Foods, becoming an assistant. I worked in Montclair. I went in West Orange, Edgewater, and then I became the prepared foods team leader in Edgewater, New Jersey. It overlooks the George Washington Bridge.
Nice.
There were some summer weeks that we did $150,000 in sales. We had a Jamba Juice attached, and it was crazy. It was nonstop busy. We had a lot of prepared foods items, like give or take 60 or 70 items made in-house every day. Prep lists, 150 employees. And then they ended up opening up a corporate office right next to Edgewater, the Northeast regional office. And I had my president in there at all times. She would jump behind my deli and start serving customers. And at a 25-year-old kid, this sucks. Like, it was nonstop. And I ended up leaving the supermarket business and moved to Reading to work at a restaurant for about 9 months, 10 months with my best friend at the time.
Okay.
And then the pay was horrible. I was like $900 every 2 weeks at the restaurant.
That was my fucking salary at Damon's. Now we're going back 2013.
This was like 2000.
Jesus. Think about that. $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
After taxes.
It was like 2009.
In that business.
Luckily, I mean, I moved in with, he lived in Wyomissing, right across from the Colonial Park Mall. I moved in with him and the rent was cheap. But two things happened. We stopped talking and I left that place and went to go work for Harris Teeter in Maryland. They relocated me. They picked me up, moved me to Maryland, gave me a lot of money to come work for them and paid for all my moving expenses. And then moved to Maryland and worked at Harris Teeter for a while. In the interim, my girlfriend at the time ended up moving down. We met in Ocean City, Maryland.
I love that place.
We met in Ocean City, Maryland. I was with my friends at the time. She was with her ex-boyfriend, or her boyfriend at the time, excuse me. We met. We didn't know each other. They came back. They broke up. She found me.
Nice.
And then we ended up finding out that we grew up 45 minutes apart. And but I'm a little bit older. And then she ended up picking up and moving herself down to Maryland to follow a crazy boy. And then we ended up getting engaged, and we ended up having our oldest son. And after that, I realized that supermarket business wasn't for me anymore.
Okay.
Because I'm working long hours. I'm driving an hour to my store each way.
That fucking sucks.
And I'm like not seeing him. So I chose to move and go to corporate America. So I worked for Compass Group, running a call center for Verizon for about a year.
Oh, wow. You left the whole industry as a whole.
I left the supermarket business and I was a chef manager for Compass Group.
Okay.
Running Silver Springs, Maryland, running their call center. So I'd have a cafeteria.
Oh, okay.
I became more Monday through Friday job, holidays off, more like what a family guy would want. And then I ended up leaving and going to Under Armour in Baltimore. And I ran Under Armour's corporate cafeteria for about a year.
You mentioned that to me. We're going to stop you there for a second. We're going to stop. We're going to pick back up at Under Armour, but I want to rewind back to prepared foods because I have a love-hate with Wegmans. All right. Love Wegmans. Love their made-to-order sandwiches, their bread. Whew, forget about it. You know what I mean? $7 too. Great deal. Great value for that. But then I go in there after class one, because the school's up by there. I'm not in the mood to cook anything. I didn't go to the store, right? I buy prepared food up there. Everything is just outrageous. Chicken cutlet, this big, maybe 6 ounces of chicken. Little thing of spaghetti, but this much, and broccoli, $14. Now I paid for it because it was what it was. But holy shit, a sweet potato. I was just telling Mike this last episode. A sweet potato, cut in half, baked. Guess how much they charge for it?
Probably about $5.
$9.
$9 for a sweet potato.
I'm not joking.
That costs
I
probably...
I don't bring my phone and Wegmans with me because I just leave it in the car.
Probably 50 cents.
$9 for a prepared sweet potato.
Well, I could do some of that stuff at the Bistro. I have a merchandising case, and I do all of these grab-and-go containers and stuff like that. And that's what I'm trying to push now and market now, is that you have no time to do anything. You just come run in, grab a container, and you leave.
I'm going to pay convenience. I know I'm going to pay more than I normally would.
100%.
But some of it's insane. Like this chicken cutlet and some spaghetti need to be $14.
The most expensive thing I think I've put out there is about $12.
And what was it?
And I want to say it was like chicken parmesan with pasta and broccoli, or I've done chicken cordon bleu out there.
Some things
like meatballs and mashed potatoes, or meatloaf and mashed potatoes. $10-12. I'm not in the business to gorge people.
I was originally going to buy turkey meat with like it was mashed potato or something else, broccoli. That was $14. I picked it up. Didn't feel like it was a lot of turkey. I just can't believe that it costs that much money for those prepared meals, and they probably sell it every day on them.
100%.
Well, they cater to the more people, more money in their pocket people.
I'm not
that area. You know what I mean?
I'm not the biggest fan of Wegmans.
Yeah.
I mean, they're supposedly one of the best for customer service.
Yeah,
I think they're one of the worst for customer service. I mean, I go in there and I ask a question, and maybe it's me too, because I have a knowledge of what I'm asking for, and the answers I get, I'm like, that's not very customer driven whatsoever.
It's fair. I do the trifecta. I do Wegmans, Aldi, and Walmart for shopping.
Aldi's is where we do most of our shopping.
Aldi's has they have good products there.
Yeah, and they're cheap.
Yeah. I buy organic chicken at Wegmans. I used to not be an organic chicken guy, but then one day I go, let's find out which one's really better. bought a packet of organic chicken, bought a packet of the regular chicken, boneless chicken thighs. Superior. The organic was just superior you agree with that? The organic chicken is just a better way to go.
And they raise them now to like slaughter them. They're not.
No, I'll pay the price for the organic because I'm making that choice, but it's double the price.
You buy a chicken breast and it's like bubble gum. Mm-hmm. It's not good.
It's not. It's just like you bite a little bit of slime on it, and it's just a weird taste to it. And the organic doesn't have hardly any smell to it.
No,
like it's just. There's no slime to it. It's just, there's always going to be a little bit of that film on there, but it's just so much different compared to, and then the grass-fed beef versus the regular beef. Some things are just worth buying. Don't get me wrong. I still eat sweets and stuff like that. We just had sweets last episode, but the majority of my diet is like the organic stuff. I just have to be that way. There's some of the stuff we get that's going on in the market today.
I try to go to the market as much as possible, like more of the meat markets. Mm-hmm. Like we have one in Berwick that we go to pretty much all the time, and I'll buy 40 pounds of chicken. Well, now I can get it through the restaurant, obviously.
Yeah.
But we used to buy 40 pounds of chicken, and I would cut it all and chop it all up, and then we'd put it in Ziploc bags ready to go, and we freeze it.
That's ready
to go.
And
then we'd have chicken for a couple months. We don't eat a lot of meat beef at home.
Okay.
It's mostly chicken, turkey.
I love chicken.
Just because it's a little more heart healthy.
I love turkey. I love dark meat. Give me the dark meat chicken thighs.
I'm a white guy.
Dark meat chicken thighs.
I don't mind boneless, skinless chicken thighs.
That's what I eat.
Marinated, like Asian marinated and grilled.
I can put them in the oven, a little salt and pepper, bring them out, let them cool down, chop them up,
boneless,
put them in a frying pan.
Good,
put them in a frying pan. Some buffalo wing sauce on there. There's not much going on there, but boneless chicken thighs just have natural flavors for me. You know what I mean? All right, what's wrong? So, real fast on the prepared food. So you just think they're completely gorging those prices?
I think so. And also, are they making them in house or are they bringing them in pre-done?
I understand that Wegmans sweets are all brought in. They don't bake anything in there.
Like a container, like a container like this does cost a pretty penny.
The actual container itself?
Yeah, they're probably 75 cents a piece, $1 a piece. And then they start bringing it in. If it's made in a different location, then they have to pay for all that transportation. But I'm sure they could probably shave the price a little bit.
Interesting.
It's not
$14 for a chicken cutlet.
I don't think it's worth it.
$14. And there was $14 for spaghetti and meatballs. There was 5 little meatballs. I picked it up. I barely had any weight there. And not even a half a pound of pasta for that rice.
And you go to a sit-down restaurant, an Italian restaurant, and it doesn't even cost that.
Right.
And you're trying to tell me your Wegmans container that's reheatable is better than going to a real Italian restaurant?
$14.
Like I have an Italian restaurant around the corner from me, and I think the most expensive thing on their menu is a steak, and they only do it on weekends, and it's like $22 for a monster steak.
Blows my mind, Matt. Blows my mind, some places like that. There's some diners around here are charging outrageous prices for stuff too. I can't even get into it.
I mean, I try to keep my prices as reasonable as possible. Mm-hmm. Let people see the quality, and then I can raise my prices slightly.
That's fair. You put out a good product.
Then people will pay for it.
It's a different story. You put out a decent product and you're charging that much, it's too much money.
Correct.
All right, you are working for Under Armour, which you brought up to me. I remember I came into the kitchen. Yes. I go, Matt, I had those same exact flannel or whatever.
Zip up top.
Yeah. I had them all. We're going back to those were out in like
15, 16.
15, 16. Yeah, exactly. 15. I had every style.
Me too.
Yeah.
A lot of them I still have, and I wear them every day.
Yeah.
Because at this point now they're 10 years old. They've gotten beat up and destroyed.
I have classic Under Armour tank tops.
I love them.
They're over 10 years old. Yep.
They're paper thin, so I can wear them in the summer. I roll up the sleeves, and
as long as they're comfortable, that's all that matters. So how was it working with Under Armour? What kind of Under Armour perks did you get?
It was 50% off everything I bought.
Did you have to feed the actual food? Because did you actually feed the products? Because those some Under Armour products, seem like they need to eat.
So it was we ran the corporate cafeteria.
Okay.
So every day I would have all of the different departments coming. The phone would ring, and it would be like, Kevin wants his food. That's Kevin Plank, the owner and founder of Under Armour.
Okay.
He'd call and be like, Kevin wants his food. He would get 2 chicken breasts, broccoli, and brown rice. That was his meal. And it didn't make a difference. He'd eat it 7 days a week, 365. And then every once in a while, he would switch it up and get like maybe a salad. I think it was tuna from what I remember.
Okay.
And we would shuffle across the campus, bring it to him. But it was pretty cool, like working for Under Armour.
How was it working for a corporation in a corporate kitchen like that? Did you have free reign on the menu? Were you able
So
to
for the
make what
most
you
part-
wanted? Did they bring you in there specifically for that?
So for the most part, we had free reign. I mean, most of the corporate accounts, they all have like a food bank of probably thousands of recipes that you can pick from. But with Under Armour, we did have some leeway. We had a pizza station, and he was able to kind of do whatever he wanted to do for the day. As long as you gave me a heads up of what you're doing, then we can obviously do that. But we did have to write a menu so that the staff could see it. But it was an insane experience seeing like Deion Sanders this far from me.
Oh no shit!
And you and
so people that were guests at Under Armour for contracts and materials
Tom Brady,
and stuff like that.
The
No
Rock,
shit.
seeing The Rock like walking past you, or Tom Brady.
Time out again about The Rock. We're gonna get into The Rock sneakers right now. Under Armour sneakers. They came out in probably 18 or 19.
I think I left Under Armour like right around when he was starting to.
Good. You didn't have the pleasure of paying 50% off for these sneakers that I paid full price for. That ripped behind like the heel. Just for putting them on. Now I went the traditional way. I actually untied them, put them on normally every time because I would ruin my sneakers by not tying them and constantly flip them on and off. So when it gets ripped in the bag, that's my own fault. But I didn't do it with this. They were $150. They were really, really nice trainers. And I'm like, I want these for my running and for my lifting. They fucking ripped within a couple months. And I paid that much money. I was so mad. And now The Rock's trying to ruin wrestling on me now too. But yeah, you met The Rock though? You talked to him?
No. So we were told from the get-go, you treat them like they're a normal person. You do not run up to them, ask them for an autograph, a picture. You don't ooh and ah about them. They're another person.
Yeah.
And if you do it, you'll be fired on the spot.
But even like just talking in general, hey Rock, nice to meet you.
He was more of I never like was that close to him. He was more of like on the distance. But we would do like catering, like right in the middle of the cafe. Awesome. We would do catering. We had the New Zealand rugby team come through, and you want to talk about big boys.
I bet.
These guys, I would watch them eat crab cakes and they wouldn't even chew. Like just swallow them. Like
you know a real big group of people are hockey players.
Huh?
They're all like this.
My middle one's a hockey player.
Yeah, we're all like you look up at them and like, what the fuck is going on here? What's in the ice? You know what I mean? You think The Rock is natty or not?
What's
that?
You
know what that means? Is The Rock natty or not? Is he natural or is he on steroids? He says he's natural.
I don't think he's natural. I know in the younger days he said he was.
Yeah, maybe when he was younger, but now being his age, how big he is, how lean he is. When somebody is that lean all the time, really low body fat, you're miserable. You're not a happy person, no matter what you do. But what makes you happy, being that low body fat, are steroids. It's just a fact. There's a lot of fitness influencers.
I don't think he's natural.
There's a lot of fitness influencers that claim to be natty, but their low body fat and the way they look says otherwise. And you can tell a lot of guys have gyno. I don't even know if you know what that is. When their boobs fold over.
Yeah. So
you can tell that's from steroid abuse. When their nipples fold, when they don't look normal, they fold and they fold over, and then they get like the bitch tits. You could tell when that's the side effects from too many steroids. And if I respect people more. One, I'm not a fan of performance enhancing drugs when it comes to sports. I'm an athlete. I compete in jiu-jitsu. And I'm 43 years old. I'm not on TRT. I'm not on anything. I'm natural. I'm from my diet, proper vitamin D, and my body somehow bouncing back from my drug addict days 10 years ago. My body, the human body is very resilient.
Yes, it is.
It bounces back from a lot if you let it. And then I go against people. I used to power lift. They'd be on steroids. Well, for what? It's driving me crazy. So I'm not a fan of it as far as performance enhancing. If you want to do it for your own good, you want to look the way a certain way you want to do it, whatever. Knock yourselves out. I don't agree with it. But TRT and steroid are two different things. You know the difference between TRT and steroids? Yeah. So steroids are, your body doesn't need steroids anymore. You're already natural at testosterone levels. TRT is a newer thing over the years, testosterone replacement therapy. Good example, I had some friends that were miserable. Their energy was really low, all this kind of stuff. They got their testosterone levels checked. A 40-year-old man should be about 600, 700, maybe 700 is above average, which is actually where I'm at. But some other friends were at like 200 or 100. and this really low testosterone. So testosterone replacement therapy brings you back up to your natural levels of where they should be for your age and for your sex. It just levels you out. But then there's going too far. It's when you're a T, oh yeah, I'm back to natural levels. Oh, let's double my dose. Now we go from 600 natural level to 1200. Now we reach the steroid territory. We reach the cheating territory, which I can't stand in sports. You see they reinstated Pete Rose to baseball?
I did. I read that. It was a couple days ago.
How do you feel about that?
I think he's earned it.
How's he earned it?
I think he deserves to get put into the Hall of Fame.
Do you think lying for as long as he did, coming out in the truth on the last year of the eligibility? I can't stand that. I get all fired up. He definitely bet on his own team. I can't stand it. You think he'll get into the Hall of Fame?
I think they're going to make him wait. But
you think he's a better chance than Barry Bonds? Bonds will never get into it.
Yeah.
Sosa will never get into it. McGuire will never get into it. They cheated and lied too much. But Pete Rose did the same thing. Pete Rose lied for a long time. If he came on and told the truth when it first happened.
A different story probably.
Yeah,
but
I just get fired up over it. That's all. I'm a Phillies fan too. All right, so you're at Under Armour. Let's get back into the ring.
I'm at Under Armour. We find out we're pregnant with our second kid, so we're like, let's move back closer to family. So how
hard of a decision was that for you? You seem like
I loved it.
You seem very passionate talking about it.
I loved it, but it was time to move closer to family.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. How far were you from family?
So it was about 5.5 hours.
That's far.
From my parents and about
2 hours.
6 hours.
2 hours. 2 hours is like a visit.
Yeah.
6 hours is a trip.
Correct.
Yeah, 6 hours is a trip.
It was a trek every time we would do a weekend away. So we moved back, and then I went to go work for ShopRites.
Okay.
And in Daleville, in Mount Pocono.
Okay.
And that's where working for someone that was not a good person. He was more focused on the apple that I just threw away that was half rotten than worrying about.
Same guy who opened up the one in Music?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know my mother worked for them for a brief time.
Bill Bracey. Mm-hmm. And he just was not a nice guy. Like, you brought me on to be your manager, and I was going to run delis and cafes in both your stores. And then I was the same thing, like working the hot bar, slicing deli meat. Like, nothing's above me. But you didn't. That's not what you're paying me for.
Right, and that's the key factor right there. Like I was saying about me working at Damon's, and you're saying this right now. It's not that because I'm the head chef or I'm the manager that I shouldn't be cleaning the bathroom or expoing food or slicing deli meats. If you need me, if the business itself needs me there, I'm the manager. I know I should be going there and doing that. If I can't delegate, delegation is a big part of being a manager. You're a good delegator. You get good staff. You get things done. But when you get micromanaged, like it seems like this guy did. Was he the main manager or was he the micromanager?
He was the owner.
But he was the owner.
And then he had a general manager that kind of oversaw his businesses as well.
The owner oversaw him every day though?
See, and the GM was the micromanager. He was a micromanager. He would come in.
So annoying.
But then even the owner I wouldn't see every day. But the micromanager, the GM, he just was not, neither one were good guys. But it turned out, I left probably after a year, and I read or found out maybe 5 years ago that the owner, Bill, ended up firing his general manager after 25 plus years of being faithful with him and staying with him. So that tells you what kind of owner this guy is, that you just kicked a can with someone that's been with you for 20 plus years.
Jeez.
It just wasn't. And then ShopRites are a conglomerate. So they're owned by, a co-op. They're owned by Wakefern is the mother company, and then people buy ShopRites.
Okay.
So I went to a long, extensive training for 2 weeks with Wakefern, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to build business. And then we went back and did a whole meeting with the Braceys, and they said, nah, we're not going to do that.
Huh.
Like, so then why did you just waste thousands of dollars sending me this training, paying for a hotel, paying for food and all that, then to say, no, that's not what you want? So
that's frustrating.
I ended up leaving them, and then I was at Wilkes University for about 4 years as their executive chef.
Oh, nice. Right over the bridge from me.
Correct. Right after I was there through July of 21. And then the opportunity came to go to Misericordia and be the executive chef for Misericordia for 2.5 years. And then just before I left, I was the director of operations for 6 months. And then it got to the point that after being in corporate America for 20 plus years, I said it's time to be my own boss.
Good for you.
And I hemmed and hawed. I looked at the site where I am now for about a year. I looked at it in November of 2023 for the first time. And I was like, nah, not ready. And then I finally got to the point last, give or take March, May, somewhere around there, that I was like, I'm just ready. And I had a conversation with my one brother, and he kind of gave me maybe it's the time, because multiple times he had talked me out of going and doing my own thing, and this time he didn't talk me out of it.
What was his reason to talk you out of it in the first place?
Having young kids and knowing that owning a business, you live and breathe the business, which I live and breathe the business. Mm-hmm. But I think he finally got that it was time.
You know, it's a good business to open and not live and breathe it? A jiu-jitsu gym.
Yes, sir. Any martial arts school. Any school.
Look at me. So I worked out at the Good Tree MMA Wilkes-Barre. I left my casino job. Mm-hmm. I worked in I worked in the restaurant business for over 20 years, and I was a dealer at the casino for 8 years. Weekends, weekends, holidays. You had every reason to want to get away from that life. Even if it was your own business, at least if something came up with life, even you could close your doors if you really needed to.
Correct.
And not get fired for it.
Correct.
You get fired for going to a fucking funeral or a friend's wedding because there's only 2 other people that have Saturdays off and they won't work for you. That's the kind of shit I dealt with. But then I went to they initially asked me to work at the gym when they first opened it. I said no. Because of the lack of insurance and maybe a pay cut. But I didn't take into consideration the schedule. Monday through Thursday, 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock is doing jiu-jitsu, kids class, 101 class, advanced class. And I do jiu-jitsu in all 3 classes. Mm-hmm. I get paid for it. And then Friday, like tomorrow is Friday, right? I teach the 10 a.m. class. After that's over, weekend begins. Well, weekend begins really tonight at 6 o'clock. The last kids class is over for the week. You know what I mean? And it's just right. Matt, you go from, you did it too, the restaurant business, like the Now the supermarkets were your hours crazy?
The hours were crazy, specifically around the holidays. I mean, my crazy time
imagine the holidays.
My crazy time was just before Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving, obviously, that became more retail, and then Christmas kicked in. But I remember doing 400 catering orders out of my walk-in refrigerator at Whole Foods in Edgewater. Or when I was in Montclair, the kitchen was very small, so we'd actually rent a refrigerated truck, and we'd work out of a refrigerated truck. And I remember working until 2 o'clock in the morning on Thanksgiving Eve, going home, sleeping for like 3 hours, and then being back at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning on Thanksgiving morning to make sure everyone got their meals picked up.
Stuff, bro.
I mean, it was good money because at that point it was like 2.5 times.
But you know but you don't have time to spend it. Or you don't care anymore. Like I went from making X amount of dollars at the casino, good benefits, good retirement, quitting. No work for 6-7 months. I studied to be a personal trainer. And then I finally got into the opening at Wilkes-Barre, the Good Tree Wilkes-Barre gym. The person that was working there currently, things just didn't work out with them. They weren't going to hire a second salesman anytime soon. It just turned into that. That was the original idea, right? Because I remember when they initially asked me to work for them, I turned it down. They hired my buddy Keenan to work with us. I was supposed to be the guy up at the Dunmore gym, not the Wilkes-Barre gym. So I would have been if things worked out that way, I'd have been driving from Kingston to Dunmore. I go there 3 times a week anyway to train, but it would have been. I sometimes I go to the gym twice a day. Sometimes Mondays I go to train in the mornings and I go back for night at work time. So it would have been a lot more driving. It wouldn't have worked out the way it worked out. Now I'm part of the new school. We've been there for 2 years. 2.5 years. I've been there for 2 years now. But like, I helped build that school with the owner, Tyler, and I loved that. I couldn't work for a better person, for better people. It's such a pleasant place to work.
Who's Tyler? Who?
Tyler Mooney. No. Tyler Mooney's one of the owners. He's and then 2 others. 2 other owners. He's majority owner, and the 2 other owners are Frank Alonia and Tom McGuire. Frank and Tom own the Dunmore School. So Wilkes-Barre is a Good Tree branch of the main school. And then we are hoping to open up a school in North Pocono. Oh. And then eventually Hazleton. So that's the business plan of the school. So
my oldest did some jiu-jitsu in Exeter until the school closed, but I cannot remember his name. Tyler. I can't think of his last name.
Tyler. It was Bad Company.
Yes.
Tyler.
But it wasn't Bad Company back then.
Okay, it was Bad Company's getting ready to close now. Tyler. Why can't I say his last name? But anyway, he used to make stupid comments about me, about how got one school doing pizza reviews and we're out here training with champions. I remember
this was probably
I'm trying
6 years ago.
I hope that we're talking about the same time. His last name, but he was eventually owned that company.
I believe so. Yes.
So we're thinking of the same Tyler. And I never really spoke on it before. I'm going to speak on it now as we're talking about it. We used to hang out back in the day before jiu-jitsu even was even a thing. And then when I started working for Good Tree and he'd be at Bad Company, he made a couple comments about the school, how Good Tree is the lending tree, like just giving out belts for people. Little does he even know that, like, for me to get my purple belt, like what I had to do for that. Obviously, I had to earn it, but they don't give anything at that school. At our school, they don't give anything at our school. And if he made a few comments at that, then he made comments twice about me doing, you guys are out there doing pizza reviews, making a comment about me. He goes, you're out there doing pizza reviews while we're up here training with champions. They were at the ADCC tournament in Vegas in the nosebleed seats watching the matches. You were going to brag about being with champions from the fucking nosebleed seats at a tournament that you didn't even compete in? Karma's a bitch. He wanted to react. He wanted me and his DM asking him why he's saying what he's saying, for him to come back and be like, oh, I'm just breaking balls. No, they didn't even give him the satisfaction. It's the first time I actually spoke of it. It just happened to come up. I cannot think of his last name though.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
That's driving me crazy.
Yeah, my oldest was there for probably about a year until the dojo closed.
And how was it?
I mean, he was
How was
also
the structure?
He was at this point probably like 5.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's just more about
so it was
hanging out.
Yeah,
like I was saying earlier.
I mean, he was learning, and he still honestly remembers what he learned. Yeah. But yeah, he was.
They learn
like
They learn more about discipline and confidence and stuff like that when you're 5 years old.
Backpack,
maybe,
I remember,
maybe
armbar and stuff.
Yeah, maybe an armbar here or there. But yeah, I mean, it's great for the kids. You ever think about getting them back into it?
I want to get them back into it.
You mentioned about you're busy with the time.
I do want to get them back into it, but the 3 kids definitely have us running, and that goes back to being able to close the shop whenever I want to.
Let's continue on. You open up your own business.
Like we go away with the kids for a day, or a couple weeks ago we went down to Luray, Virginia, and I'm able to just
Tyler Calvey.
Yes.
Yeah, that's his name.
I'm able to just shut the business down for a day. Obviously, if I don't have the doors open, I don't make any money, but it gives me the luxury of being able to close down.
Come down for the Food Fight podcast.
Correct, the Food Fight podcast. We took the kids to Kalahari a couple months ago from a Thursday to Friday.
Ooh.
Thursday to Friday.
That was probably a month's worth of fucking money right there.
It was actually with Little League, so it was a fundraiser. Oh, good. So I think the room ended up costing us like just under $300.
Their prices are insane there.
But we do it every year with Little League as a fundraiser.
That's nice.
So
that's cool.
It gives me the opportunity. But like my oldest does deck hockey, and he's into scouts. He does theater. My middle one's a hockey player. He's the one of the U10 goalies for the travel team for the Baby Pens, and he plays deck hockey. He does scouts. He does Little League, and then my little one, she does figure skating. She'll be on the ice tonight.
Busy.
So we're never ending. It's never we never have a day off. Tomorrow night, one of the baseball games got canceled, so tomorrow night is probably our first night that we have nothing to do until.
Sounds like sitting home watching TV is the best time for that. I love doing that so much.
And we never get a chance to do that.
No, I love that.
And then Saturday, we're on the go again.
Yeah.
He's got hockey, has to be at the ice rink at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm in Benton at a spring fling. Like, we're constant.
I like that, though. I don't have kids of my own. Me and my girlfriend have been together for almost 7 months now. I actually trained her daughter in jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
She brought her daughter in almost a year ago. And then me and her just met outside of the gym, not realizing who we were until we realized who we were. And they were like, well, fuck, what does it matter now, right? We hit it off. And I remember we went out a couple times, and I'm like, I got to tell the owners. I got to let them know that we're dating. I mean, I can't hide it. I don't want to be uncomfortable. They're not going to, they need to know. We don't have any rules. We have one unwritten rule. No dating the students. That's just how that's just how trouble happens. So never respect across the board for all of our students. Students on students, you do whatever you want. You're all adults. You're all paying to go there. But I work there. He's the owner. We don't dabble. Kids' mothers, most of my classes, I was like, am I in fall territory here? And my one owner, Frank's like, listen, I'd be a hypocrite because he's been married to the other, his wife, Jess. They met probably 10, 12, 15 years ago. He was selling contracts. And she was the trainer, but that's 15 years. There wasn't a lot of people, but they've been together ever since. They have a little boy, so things work out. It's great. They're younger too, so to be able to fall like that and like that. So like I guess I'd be a hypocrite to tell you no, but you only get one. So they busted my balls. I'm like, I think I'm going to be all right. So things are going really well with her. What I was getting at is that we let her daughter Agnes know that we are together now. So we've been hanging out on the weekends, and she's great. So she's already, you know how you meet a girl and you're like, oh, I can see your face in your daughter's face. Look at that. I see her daughter's face in her face now because I known her daughter more than I known her.
Yeah.
But I've been training Agnes now. She'll be 6. She came in 5. She was wild, crazy during class, right? Like it was like, oh my God, Agnes is here. We got to calm her down, right? But then she made a complete. And then before me and Bridget got together, she actually called and said, listen, I'm going to take her out. I'm like, no, I don't think you should. I see a lot of changes in her. I don't think you should take her out. And she did. She left her. And now she does good in class. But she's also going to be 6. So they're good kids. But they say the wildest fucking shit.
Yes, they do.
She goes to me yesterday in class. She goes, Miss Sensei Brian, am I your favorite student? You told me I was. I'm like, you can't say that in front of the other students. It was just so funny. It's just how she is. She's staring at me. She's like, remember the last time we saw each other? I'm like, I do. And then we ran into another one of the kids that trained there and his father at the park on Saturday. So we all went for pizza because they fell in love with each other. They're 5 and now they love each other. You know what I mean? So we all go for pizza. So now he thinks that I'm just his buddy now in class, and he's acting up. He did 100 burpees yesterday. I go, Raiden. I know that we're pizza buddies now, and I like that. But you need to pay attention in class. You can't. I go, you've been a little crazy ever since you've been here. But you got to ring it in now because now you're pissing me off. But the main point of that is I don't have kids of my own. I don't think I want them. She's actually 10 years younger than me, so the opportunity is still there. But I'm also going to be 44. But I get to experience pushing her on her bike, going to a T-ball game. But the main point of this was weekends now were my free days. But now it's like, oh, we going to Dave & Buster's? We going to Chuck E. Cheese
Where
now?
are we going?
I fucking love it. I love it. Maybe because a big part of it is that I give this is not my kid. I'm not fully responsible. But I knew getting into the relationship from the beginning, eventually she'd be part of my life as well.
Of course.
And I'd be a father figure or whatever. I'm already a positive adult figure in her life by being her instructor. But she needs more of that in her life. And I knew that would be a responsibility. And again, we didn't say a word to her for 6 months. But now it's time to let her know. And now she knows and she's happy about that. And I'm thrilled about that. So that makes me happy for the relationship moving forward, but also nervous too, because now I have 2 girls that I want to be around. And if something was to happen, this would be like a double whammy. But we talked about it before, so you know what I mean? So what was the like? Think about being scared and big changes. What was the like leaving corporate, that steady paycheck, that guaranteed insurance, all of that security? Because one of my biggest fears leaving the casino was not having insurance.
That was the hardest thing.
Think about that.
And that's the hardest thing every day is watching some days no one come in for 2 or 3 hours and knowing that I left a company that I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly how much I was making. I worked for corporate America. I was salaried. I was getting paid if I was there or not. And
if something happened, there's jobs like that in your resume. You can fill you right in. You go right to the next one and take care of your family. Yeah.
Right now, graduation was last weekend, so this week is a little bit busy with catering, and then there's three months of no students, no staff, getting ready for the next semester, working 4 or 5 hour days, 6 hour days sometimes, and usually working like 4 days a week to now all of a sudden working 6 days a week. Having a business to run and make sure I open those doors. I've been opening up early for the outage at the power plant. So I'm up and at the Bistro at 4 o'clock in the morning.
God bless you. Is it worth it?
Most days it is.
Good for you. Most
days it is. I get also all of the Amazon construction guys come in a lot. I'll have them tomorrow morning probably. They usually come around 5:15, and it makes it worth it. And being open that early, there's nothing in my area that's open at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, other than there's a little coffee shop down the road.
That's that sacrifice you're making. That's a sacrifice.
But at the end of the day, the year or 2 that I put in to sacrifice will eventually pay off.
Good for you. Yeah,
and then it will be self-sustaining. So right now I'm kicking my ass. We've only been open for 6 months, 7 months.
Oh, no shit. So you messaged me. So when you messaged me a few months ago, we were
new.
Spanking new, baby.
We were new. We opened we opened our doors October 14th.
No
it was
shit.
our first day with the full menu. So yesterday would have been a full 7 months we've been open. And looking back now to where we are now, it's leaps and bounds different.
How scary was that first day?
That first day was...
Because you know the restaurant business. You sold restaurants food all that time for all those years, all that kind of stuff, right? You know how easy it could go, good or bad.
We opened up. I really didn't work a line in forever. Working for corporate and working for supermarkets, it was mass production, not working a la carte and doing plate by plate. We opened up that Sunday the 13th because the library was having an open house, and the second we opened our doors, we were packed, and it was insane. And now looking back now, it was crazy. Like,
congratulations, man. It's not easy.
Thank you.
It's not
and
easy.
And then I would love to have a Sunday like that again.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the initial Sunday, we got our asses kicked.
You open 7 days a week?
6 days a week,
God
Sunday
bless.
through Friday.
Okay.
We're only closed on Saturdays, and that's like the family day.
Good for you.
But Sundays we do 8 to 1, so we're brunch.
Yeah. Is the majority of your business catering?
I do a decent amount of catering.
That's where we met the first time.
Yep.
At Dancing Stars.
The Kirby Center.
It's a good time.
Yep. My oldest, actually both my boys did shows at KISS for many years.
Okay.
And then I've stayed on to just do the catering for them for the Kirby and for Dancing Stars.
I was sitting inside, and I remember I'm hungry again. My girlfriend went to the bathroom. She texted me. She goes, "There's cookies out here." So I went out and met her. We were out there for 20 minutes eating cookies. So I was fucking. I think I was talking to you around then too. I was like, "This is worth the cookies now." I'm like, "You bake all these today?" You're like, "No."
So catering is the fun part, and it's to me it's easier to do catering than to do the a la carte.
Yeah.
Catering, I know exactly what I need.
Food
if
was
I'm
good?
having 100 people, I know I need to have food for 100 people. Here's the menu. A la carte, obviously, it changes. I never know what someone's going to order. I can have a hunch when someone walks in. I can go, they're probably going to get.
You put a nice spread on. That was a really that was a really nice. That was my first time inside the Kirby.
Oh, you've never been to Kirby
I
Center
don't think
before?
I've ever been there before. It was really, really nice.
And they've done a lot of work in like the basement. Last year for Dancing Stars, the basement was flooded. And they gutted everything in the basement. They had a water main break probably about a month and a half before Dancing Stars and before. So they gutted everything. Now they've redone everything. It's beautiful.
Chris Bolinski goes to me when he walked in. He's like, "Why aren't you doing this?" He goes, "Maybe next year." He goes, "Next year I'll talk to you about it." I might be dancing next year. That'd be interesting. It was a good time though. My friend, I came there to watch my friend Monto Sanovanti dance. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They all seem to enjoy themselves, and they work their asses off though.
Yeah, they did. I'm sure they did. That's not easy. That's
especially someone that doesn't have any dancing experience.
And then getting on stage
in front of give or take 700-800 people.
Yeah, that was a really, really good time. So, do you feel with your bistro being 7 months now? That's so new. Are you still fine tuning everything,
We're still
have you found that rhythm right now?
We're still fine tuning things, but we do have a decent rhythm.
Okay.
When we when we get to a point that we know what's coming, it makes it easier. So like a lunch, one day my lunch rush may be 11:30 in the morning, and then the following Monday the lunch rush may not happen until 1:30 in the afternoon. So that's the hardest part, is learning the business and learning when people are going to come. But ultimately, if I could do that, then I probably wouldn't be owning a restaurant. Mm-hmm. I'd be doing something else.
Yeah. Oh shit, I completely agree.
That's crazy,
great, man. I'm great. So. It's a new business, and I'm glad that it's working out for you. This restaurant business, probably one of the hardest. We just got done one of the busiest days of the year, Mother's Day.
We did a Mother's Day brunch. I honestly didn't publicize it whatsoever up until 3 days before, and I'm getting calls that morning like, "We have a group of 10. Can we come?" I'm like, "You can come in at 9."
Yeah.
Because at 10 I have another, give or take 25 people coming.
Nice.
So I didn't plan it really at all. I threw out.
It worked out.
Specials and it was good.
Good for you. That's awesome.
It was good.
I wanted to ask, I have it written down specifically. As a chef, what is your favorite dish to cook? I had John DeBone on my show a few weeks ago. You know, he's the chef for Bar Pazzo.
Okay.
So I asked him the same question. Dude, it was hard for him to give me an answer. I think it was some kind of pasta answer. I forget exactly what it was.
I like Asian, but it's not like a typical Asian. It's like mixing flavors kind of thing. It drives my wife crazy all the time. Like I'll say what's for dinner and she's like, "I don't know," and then I'll open up the closet, I'll open up the fridge and I'll start pulling stuff out. And then the next thing you know, you have a full meal. It's like an episode of Chopped. And I joke with her all the time is like, what's for dinner tonight? She's like, I don't know. Well, I guess it's a fucking episode of Chopped tonight. Like, let's see what we can pull out. But I want to say Asian is probably my favorite cuisine to do. I dabble in Italian. But to have a favorite dish.
What's your favorite dish? Pinpoint it. I'm surprised it's not immediate answer.
I don't have a favorite dish specifically. Like, I enjoy making crab cakes.
Oh, got crab cakes over there?
I do not. I've done crab cake specials. Living in Maryland, I learned like the Maryland crab cakes way.
I love a good, solid crab cake sandwich. There's a gas station around here that makes really good crab cakes.
Yep, a Sunoco in. I've never been there, but I've heard about it.
Yeah.
It's like a Sunoco.
Yeah, Sunoco gas station. You ever hear that about Brian?
Yeah, it's a Sitco.
Sitco. Sorry,
yeah, Sitco.
And apparently he has Banco's, the Banco's seafood restaurant on 11. He has his recipe.
No shit.
Banco's closed because they flooded.
Okay.
And then they reopened, and the owner got a lot of money from what I've been told, a lot of money from the banks to reopen, and then soon after he reopened, he had a massive heart attack and died.
Oh no shit!
So they ended up closing, and it was up for the market, but he got the recipe from him. I believe.
I gotta try them. I'm so overdue to try them. It's overdue to try them.
It's kind of creepy to me that like it's in a gas station, but that one, and then I've also heard a lot about the one on 11. Excuse me, the Dallas Highway, the Jay's. Something.
I think I might have heard of that one too. That's what people talk about, the Green Ridge newsstand.
Yeah.
Up in Green Ridge. It's a Gulf gas station. You walk in. If you want gas, you're waiting in line with the other 4 people that are waiting, or they're getting food.
Man.
You got pizzas, Texas wieners. What we got on the table here, Matt? I got seafood everywhere.
So I got a French onion omelet.
Somehow I'm hungry again.
That's one of our breakfast options.
Okay.
And it's probably one of our most popular omelets.
I definitely want to.
So it is an omelet, and inside it's got Swiss cheese, and then it's got onions that are cooked down. And then added cherry, beef stock, a couple different seasonings, and then it almost tastes like you're eating a French onion soup. And then underneath it's got a everything seasoned sourdough that I get from a local guy in West Pittston.
I gotta try it out.
Mike's Baked Goods.
Okay. I don't know how I'm hungry still. Brian, want to try some omelet?
Sure.
Probably a little cold by that point.
That's
at this
all good.
point, but
I like cold leftovers, so we're at the right spot.
And then this is it'll go well with the breakfast. This is in-house made sausage patties.
In-house sausage?
Yep, we make our own sausage. So I buy the ground pork just because, I mean, you've been to the bistro. I don't have a huge amount of space, but I buy the ground pork. We season it in-house, and we portion it out in-house.
What would you say your specialty at the bistro is? Besides you, of course. All right?
Honestly, like when it comes to breakfast, the French onion omelet is probably one of our specialties. I don't ever see that on menus. That's kind of what I tried to bring, is stuff that I don't, very rarely do I see on menus.
Okay.
The tortellini salad is another specialty.
Don't touch that. That's mine. It's really good.
Tortellini salad is another specialty.
I had that last time, Matt. It was so good. You got to try that, Bri. Ooh.
The chili's another one that's popular. And then we got our porchetta.
Onions are excellent. Aren't they?
Love it.
This is our porchetta sandwich. So it's in-house made porchetta.
Not the one out here.
I use a pork loin, season it, let it sit for a day, and then I roast it. And it's got banana peppers and provolone.
That's the porchetta sandwich?
Yes, sir.
That's something else. Brian, you want that for your lunch?
Sure, why not?
Yeah? All right. I got to try that when it's fresh.
That's why I asked
It
you.
tastes like French onion soup, just with the egg on top, and it blows. The onions are so fucking good on that. Man, I had chili when I was up there. I didn't have French onion soup. You have French onion soup?
I do not have French onion.
I didn't think so. I would have sounded. I would have got that.
I have the chili, Italian wedding, and vegetarian corn chowder every day.
You made the Italian wedding too?
I do, and then every week I rotate a new soup or a different soup. Like this week we're doing an asparagus and Parmesan soup. So it's like a cream of asparagus, but you get the creaminess from the Parmesan cheese. We've done seafood chowder. Last week was cream of mushroom soup.
That's the porchetta right
That's
there.
the porchetta. And
You ever take magic mushrooms?
No.
No. Just that I ask, you know.
I was never a big like
Good for you.
drug guy.
Good for you.
In college was the pot, but
The pot. You have to for when you had to share bathrooms together,
yeah.
you know. Porchetta sandwich, looking good. Banana peppers on there.
Banana peppers, provolone, and the porchetta.
Do you make the porchetta?
I do.
I knew I should have got this when I was there. I knew it.
And honestly, it's probably the least popular item on our menu.
I feel like more Italians know what porchetta is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is excellent.
Writing the menu, I was trying to be like, what do you not see? What things do I know in the culinary world that people don't?
Porchetta fan?
Yes.
There you
The
go.
biggest,
This is half is yours.
The biggest thing I get
right?
when people come into the bistro is that I tell them the specials, or they look at the menu and they're like, "This isn't Shickshinny." I mean, that's the mentality we're trying to change.
Not
It's just-
Shickshinny. What would be on his Shickshinny menu? Well, I'm dying to know now. Because that seemed like a very aggressive
Like-
answer that guy gave, like question that guy gave.
Just like a basic, simple hamburger.
Yeah.
Like simple stuff, like deli meat and sandwiches.
So like like ham and cheese sandwich.
Correct. Ham and cheese, like a basic hamburger. Every week we do a smash burger. This week we're doing a peanut butter and green chili jam smash burger. I've seen peanut butter on so many different burgers and I've never tried it.
I actually want to try one.
And I've been like, if I'm going to try it for the first time, I want to be the one to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably my least favorite smash burger I've done, and probably the least popular, because the same reaction I have is people are like, what? Peanut butter. The most popular is probably we did a breakfast burger. That was two 3-ounce burgers, a sausage patty, fried egg, 2 slices of American cheese, and home fries.
Ooh.
And out of the probably 30 people that got the burger that week, one person physically ate it like a burger. Everyone else forked a knife.
Fork and knife it.
Yeah, so
The bread. Is the local bread you're talking about?
that is not local.
Oh, okay.
The local bread is actually underneath the French onion omelet. It's Mike's Baked Goods
That was really good.
out of West Pittston. He does a really good job.
This is really good. I can't eat any more right now, though. I'm so full from before, but I got to try a little bit of that sausage, though, because you said
Sausage,
that's your
and then
homemade
this
sausage,
is
right?
a Borson chicken sandwich.
Yeah. I overdid it. The Pennsylvania foods.
This one has a tomato jam that we make in house,
Tomato jam.
and Borson cheese, pickled red onions, and chicken.
That's good, right? Sausage patties are good.
It's not like your typical breakfast sausage.
It's not.
The pork stands out.
Yep. Oh,
It's
yeah.
lightly seasoned. Like you go to get a pork.
It's not greasy.
Not greasy. We
Definitely falls apart in my mouth. It's not squishy like processed sausage, I would
we
say.
pre-bake it a little bit just to get it partially cooked, and then we finish it on the grill.
I just can't eat it anymore. Everything is this porchetta sandwich.
And then
I
you got
knew I should have ordered this.
one more, and then you got a creamy pesto pasta as well.
Let me try that. All right.
You
Bring it
ate
over.
the chili already, so
The chili's coming home with me for dinner tonight. I already know how good that is. That's fully featured in my review, so that will give me front and spotlight.
we'll move that over here then, so nobody can eat it.
I just smell like there's a lot of cheese in here.
There's Parmesan cheese, pesto, a little bit of mayonnaise, fire roasted tomatoes, basil.
Ooh, that's a nice flavor.
You got the basil at the end.
yeah. I got that mayo every bite. What's the salad again? Pesto.
Creamy pesto pasta.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's really good with grilled chicken
Oh, I bet.
for like summer.
Is meant to be served cold.
That's served cold.
served cold?
And that's this week's feature salad.
It's really good. I know the tortellini salad's fire already. I couldn't have eaten that. I couldn't have eaten enough of that. Thanks for bringing that down. Brian, I'm taking home the tortellinis and the chili.
Let's go put that
Everything else here is yours. All right, brother?
We'll keep his pile over here.
I ate so much food today, Matt. You should have seen this shit that we did. So we did episode 3 of Foods of Pennsylvania.
There's so much that's from Pennsylvania.
We did Snyder. So we did episode 1 and 2 already. But all the Heinz, Hershey, Middleswarth, all the chips, right?
Turkey
Heinz, right? We actually didn't get Turkey Hill yet. It'd be part 4, but we did, Wise potato chips, Utz, Hers, right? We did all of those. Today we did Snyder's pretzels, Utz pretzels. We did Wawa versus Sheets. That was fun. We got into Gertrude Hawks. People were kept on talking about them. Of all the products, people were talking about, where's the Mallow Cups? Where's the Mallow Cups? I did one teaser reel from an older episode. I was just talking about how PA has so much food. We got Mr. Peanut right across the bridge where peanuts were found. Stegmeyer Brewery, right? I named about 5 places that were really local. And then in the comments. It went viral too, 200,000 views. But the comments, oh, you forgot this.
one,
you forgot that.
one.
You forgot this. I'm like, it was a 12-second clip. I forgot a lot. But you know what, though? It caused engagement. So that was really nice. It was really, really nice. What's the most popular food at the bistro? What do you sell the most of?
Typically, my smash burgers.
Which one did I have up there? I forget which one.
You had a patty melt.
Yes.
So every week I changed it. So when we first opened, I was
Did you put those onions on that?
Yes.
I thought so.
When I first opened, I did not plan to have a burger on my menu at all.
Okay.
Just because of the grease factor and knowing how it's going to kill my hood. And I don't have a deep fryer.
Yeah.
And I purposely don't have a deep fryer, A, because I don't want an Ansel system, and B, I just don't want that grease lingering. Because once you have a deep fryer, it sticks to the walls.
To the clothes.
And you'll never get rid of it.
To your clothes.
You never get rid of it. So I was like, I'm not doing a burger. And then my U.S. Foods rep came in and told me about these smash burgers. I was like, all right, let's try them. I ordered a case and I tried them and I loved them. So like, all right, every week we'll do a smash burger of our own. And then about 3 or 4 months after I was doing them, I started thinking about it, like, I can make these myself. I don't need to buy them.
Right.
I can buy the butter and the seasonings and do them myself. So we've started making the burgers now in-house on our own, and they're probably the most popular.
Do you ever have smash burgers?
That's what we're doing.
The
the really paper thin. No. And that's the big difference. Why people love ours is we smashed them, so they're like that rough look, but they're not so paper thin that they're like crunchy. Because I've seen places that smash them so thin
they're crispy.
That
they're crispy.
They're like this. They're like huge.
Yeah.
I don't.
But the actual burger place called Smash Burger.
I don't think I've ever had them.
They use Martin potato rolls.
I don't think I've had Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake's good.
Is good.
Yeah,
and then there was one in D.C. that we used to go to.
What's the Steak and Shake I had? Where's the Smash Burger? There is a place called Smash Burger, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. This is the one I had. Either that or Shake Shack.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack has the Martin potato rolls. Yes. They're good.
And then there's In-N-Out Burger. That's in the West Coast.
Yeah, there was a place I ate in Florida that was very similar to Five Guys, and I never thought I would have better French fries than Five Guys. These were either exactly the same or they were close. Now, see, I would pay $6.49 for a side of Five Guys French fries, but not $6.49 for a side of French
West
fries
Coast,
at a fucking diner.
There's In-N-Out Burgers that does the same thing.
So good.
They fresh cut.
In-N-Out Burger?
Yeah.
I had it in Vegas.
I've never tried the other one, Wahlburger, which is Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah, I never had that yet.
I've never tried them, but
In-N-Out Burger, still family owned, never went public, that place. Their family still owns every one. They're not even franchised. Great burgers, great food. They live up to the hype.
Was it Animal Style or something like that?
Animal Style. I never got Animal Style, but there's too much sauce on there. But their In-N-Out burgers are In-N-Out and White Castle on the same day in Vegas. That was a pleasure for me. And you ever eat at Hell's Kitchen?
No.
Experience.
I've been to Vegas several times. The last time was before I even met my wife.
Yeah, if you go out there again, Hell's Kitchen out there. There's one in Jersey, but Hell's Kitchen in Vegas.
But I do like a White Castle every once in a while.
So good.
I used to when I lived in Jersey, we'd have a White Castle down the road. So that was our tradition on New Year's Eve. We'd go get a suitcase, and then we'd purge our system from White Castle for the year. It would get rid of all our shit because it was like 30 minutes from mouth to anus.
Yeah.
And then we would be good for a year.
They're really, really good. How long did you live in West Pittston for?
We were in West Pittston for 3 years.
And that's where you got your inspiration for restaurant work, food work, because you have a small little garden, right?
I had a small little garden.
Is that what set it off?
In West Pittston.
Yeah.
And then, like growing up, my mother always had herbs and she was doing tomatoes. But then when we moved when we lived in Maryland, we had a decent sized garden that we would do.
Okay.
And it was always a passion to like
I got you.
know where my stuff is coming from.
I got you.
We'll be able to make my own tomato sauce. We typically grow most of the tomatoes that we use for our tomato sauce. We don't really eat a lot of the tomatoes that we even use. I typically do like Roma, San Marzano. And then when we moved to our house in Shickshinny, we expanded our garden and it's huge.
Nice.
I typically
I
plant
like that.
somewhere between 24 to 36 tomato plants, 2 dozen pepper plants.
That's got to keep you busy.
This year I've just started.
Yeah. Good for
Usually
you.
by
That's-
now the plants are in the ground already, everything.
Oh, you're just starting.
And I just
Busy,
started.
busy.
So we'll see how far along I get this year.
Busy. What else did I want to talk about before I get to some questions, and then we're going to close it out? You have been trained. You trained jiu-jitsu for almost 30 years.
I did Neon Goshen Aikido, so in Middletown, for at this point 39 years.
Yeah.
Actively, I haven't probably done it in the last give or take 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
But going through the ranks, in Neon Goshen Aikido, you weren't allowed to be a black belt till you're 16. I started when I was 5.
Okay.
So I was like a junior black belt. When I got my black belt, when I got my junior black belt, I started becoming like the kids class teacher.
Oh, cool.
So I was teaching usually 2 to 3 days a week, and it was good they were able to relate to me because at that point I was 14, 15 years old, and I'm teaching 5 to 10-year-olds.
Yeah, that's good.
And
I
then
like
moving
that.
through the ranks, and to be honest, my instructor is still very close. We were up this past weekend actually handling some family stuff, and we had to make sure we stopped and had breakfast with him and stopped at the dojo and saw him.
I like that.
And stuff. And he was at my wedding.
Was he your jiu-jitsu instructor too?
He was my jiu-jitsu instructor as well. So I did Japanese jiu-jitsu, so it was more wrist locks and a lot of throws.
Okay.
Some groundwork that was very similar, or takedowns that were similar to the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but it was more of like lockdowns.
You want to get a roll? We got,
a little old.
We have enough room. I'm older than you.
It is no,
I'm 40. I'll be 44.
I'm 44 already, but
You're older than me.
honestly, it's
We
been
can roll right over. I bet we can roll. We can just beat Brian up.
yeah, that's fine. It's honestly been at this point 6 or 7 years since I
Yeah.
took a fall.
Okay.
Like we were up this past weekend, and my son is like, "Dad, go on the mat, Dad," and I'm like, "Dude, if I go on the mat, I'm gonna need traction." Like I don't.
You'd be amazed at how well your body will bounce back immediately from that.
But it's a lot of wrist locks, and like
You're
I'm
right.
like, I don't know if my wrists
love-
could take it now.
Oh,
Take these falls.
I didn't break, but we have 8 bones in our wrists, and they're right in between here. The ligament tore that hold the bones together. So, or tendon, whatever the fuck it is.
I
Oh,
think
the
it's
ligaments.
tendon, yeah.
Ligament tendons hold the bone, the muscle to the bone. So the ligament right in between's, I think it was supposed to be like 0.02 millimeters. Mine's 0.05.
Oh.
So it's all the other bones are holding it together. So it hurts. Like that wrist, that hurts a lot. Only way I get it fixed is by having a cross pins put in. But you can literally, like, I can find the part,
And push it.
pop it back into place, pain free, until it pops back out, and then immediate pain in my wrist. I've been dealing with this for months now, and I train every day, and it kept me from competing at Pans this year. I lost at Pans, IBJ. You know what I'm talking about? IBJ at Pans. I lost last year. It was in the wrong weight class. I fucked up. I got beat. This year, the plan was to go back, train for another year, and go back. And I couldn't train the way that they wanted me to train every single day. There's the pain. I could train for a couple of days, then I got arrested a little bit. Or just not use my right hand at all. You know what I've been doing? Putting an MMA glove on my hand while I do jiu-jitsu so I don't use my right hand. So I don't get the gripping
Makes
or anything
sense,
like that. But keeping that away. And it actually changed it made my direction of training change. I
Made you better, I'm
realized
sure.
it made me better. I realized that my teacher's, Tyler's main critique of me was, we're sitting in the office a few months ago, looks at me and he goes, if you think you're going to cruise to your purple belt, you got another thing coming. They go, you work here. You're part of this gym. You're not just a purple belt. You're going to be an instructor purple belt. There's a difference. He looked at me. He goes, there's a difference. I looked at him. I go, all right, I get you. He goes, do you? He goes, you need to. He said it in a way that only a few people in my life could say it without me coming over the table. You know what I mean? Like, you ever have somebody in your life
Yes.
like that? You know? And he looked at me and he goes, you need to gain people's respect in this gym. I go, what do you mean? He goes, sometimes you roll and you let them do whatever you want to them. It's like either because you're hurt or you're just not in the mood. I go he goes, you kind of roll like a pussy. And I looked at him, he goes, I'm not calling you a pussy. He goes, you're rolling like a pussy. And he was so serious about it. And I looked at him. I only told a few people this, but this happened to come up in our conversation right here, man. I looked at him, I go, all right, that was it. That's all I needed to hear. And since that moment on, I just been destroying people that are maybe a little bit better than me, or certainly not better than me. And I've been hearing some people in the gym making like little dumb comments here and there, like breaking my balls a little bit more than maybe they need to. I mean, I work there. I bust balls too, obviously. You know what I mean? But as far as the jiu-jitsu level goes, like, right, you know, some of these people that pass you, and I let them pass me. But then I let them pass me, and then the next thing I know, it's gone too far. Now I got a battle to get back. And I was like, I might not be able to now. It's too far, right? And then now it's like I put my foot down on all of them. Now they know what I'm about. And now when I want them to work, I let them work. And it's humongous change. It was my attitude that needed to change, my confidence and my rolling. Like, I know what to do. You know what I mean? You know, you get the best chef in the world, but if he loses his confidence in himself,
Correct.
He won't be a good chef. He still has all the tools and the knowledge. He's not operating it to the fullest of his extent. And that's what needed to be brought out of me. And it's exactly what was needed. And
there are certain days, if the kitchen's not set up the way that I need it to be set up for that day, then it breaks you. And then you feel like you're drowning.
Yeah. So it's just amazing. You have good teachers in your life, the stuff that you could learn. And, you know, it's funny because my two instructors, Frank and Tyler, they're 30 years old. I'm 44. And I look up to them, and they're that much younger than me. It doesn't really matter. It's just they have different life experiences for what we get into. And, you know, Tyler's he's my best friend. He's one of my best friends. He's my instructor, and he's my boss, all in three. And he knows how to separate all three of them, and not everyone knows how to do that. And Frank's the same way, and so are Tom, the other owners. They know if I fuck up, I know I could go to him, tell him exactly what happened. We'll fix it together, and it won't get brought back up. Maybe in a ball busting way if I do it again, you know what I mean? But like they don't they're always about, well, we're not going to beat a dead horse. We're not going to beat a dead horse. That's how you have good relationships with people, whether it's relationship with a love relationship or a friend relationship. If you have that, you could talk the truth to somebody and then fix it and get over it and move on and learn from it. That's how you have growth in friendships and relationships. It's when you keep nagging each other and keep bringing up the past. That's how you deteriorate. Am I right?
100%.
Same at work.
Same thing.
A good manager will be like, hey, Brian, I got to talk to you. Let's just do it now before our shift. A bad manager, hey, I got to talk to you after your shift. Well, why can't we just talk? No, there's no time for it right now. So now I have to work 8 hours wondering what you're going to talk to me about. Why don't you just say that to me after the shift?
Correct.
I happened before.
There's a big difference between a boss and a leader.
Yes, 100%.
I've always tried to have that mentality.
Being a leader.
Lead
Yeah,
people.
I agree, man. When I became a manager at Damon's and Clark Summit, the place was filthy. Now, if I put everyone's name on a piece of paper and told them to clean it when they come in, they see me in the office, they're going to hate me. Instead, what happened was I put their names on duct tape, put it on different places. No more than 5 minutes to clean, salad station, a table, right? I know that they're not there to clean, but we all got to do it together. So when they came in and saw their names on there, they see me on the bottom, on the floor, filthy, scrubbing tables.
Correct.
They see that, they're like, okay, I can clean this salad bar
I'm not going to
out.
ask you to do something I'm not going to do.
Exactly.
You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Completely agree. I've had a lot of bosses in my life that were just horrible. Anyways,
too.
Matt, great conversation. I have some closing questions for you,
Sure.
okay? And then you could tell everyone that's listening where they come find you and see you, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. What's your favorite food?
Honestly, pizza, probably.
Great fucking answer. Bonus points for saying pizza. All right. Brian, you want some pizza, Brian? You hungry? What food could you eat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? It could be a meal. Has to be the same thing all the time, though. Pizza?
I could probably do pizza.
Pizza. Great answer. This one might be different. You're on death row.
Okay.
For whatever reason. You looked at Deion Sanders the wrong way, and his son came in and gave you attitude, and you beat him up, which I would probably do too. It's his fault that he didn't get the draft pick that he wanted because of his attitude. Do you agree?
100%.
Yeah, I agree. So how about he got a prank call?
Yeah. I honestly surprised he even got picked.
Yeah. And the
Picked up.
Browns drafted him for a bargain. He's the fourth quarterback on the string.
Yeah, like so he's getting cut.
Yeah, him and the other guy are going to be battling for the third string. What's your last meal? Something Asian? Are you making it yourself?
Sushi.
Ooh. All right. So there's a little bit of leeway with the last meal. Like somebody answered like Thanksgiving dinner, which is pretty good. What kind of sushi rolls you having? What's your top sushi roll?
So I pretty much eat everything.
You like cream cheese in them?
Not so much cream cheese.
Me neither. No cream cheese.
I will definitely do sashimi. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is eel.
I'm fair with that. That's fair.
I do every once in a while. I do like uni, which is the sea urchin.
Okay.
It's like creamy.
Yeah.
But probably a nice piece of tuna.
I love tuna. I love any kind of sushi.
Tuna rolls.
Just don't give me any cream cheese, and I'm good to go.
I'm not a big fan.
The texture.
That's every time the kids want to go to the buffet. Is the thing is like I'll hit up the sushi side. So at least I feel like I'm getting my money's worth.
I go to the one in Wyoming Valley Mall. That's the best buffet. It's the cleanest. The honey
100%
chicken. Honey chicken.
Cleanest.
Honey chicken's the best.
Yeah.
You'll see the guy who brings the food out. He's a maniac. Drives a cart like a crazy bastard.
We like Miracoya.
Miracoya is great.
Their sushi is phenomenal.
Yeah, Miracoya that's a really good spot. That place could be that's a good spot. They used to block the fire door back there with the fucking chairs. I was gonna say something like you realize you got a fire hazard going on back there, but they recently fixed it though. Oh, great question. So your answer is sushi, right?
Yep.
For your last meal? All right. All right, Matt. You got a little piece of paper over there with you. What do you got on there?
I do. So we're going to be in Shickshinny Carnival.
When's that?
On June 25th to the June 28th. We're going to be at the Food Truck Festival at the Garden Drive-In.
I'll be there. My buddy, Steve.
Yep.
I used to be a dealer with him at the casino.
That's all sponsoring the Northwest football team.
July
19th. Which is actually funny because I saw the posting and then I started looking at all the different vendors that are going to be there. And I'm like, I'm the only one that's even in Northwest School District. You got guys from Bloomsburg,
yeah.
Nanacoke.
They chase
and I'm
it.
like, I want to be there.
Yeah.
And then honestly, 2 of my employees are football players. So they're going to come down with me.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to push it. And
I'll see you down there. I'm coming.
I'm honestly
hang out.
debating giving the football team a percentage of my sales, honestly, that day. As well. And then I'm also doing Patterson Grove's church camp.
Okay.
From July 20th to August 3rd. That's a full meal. It's lunch and dinner every Sunday, and then dinner Monday through Friday. And it's a $15 ticket, and it gets you a protein, starch, a veg, dessert, a salad bar. So a full meal for $15.
Very nice.
And then we're also tossing around the idea of doing a hot dog eating contest for July 4th weekend.
I know a really ex-fat guy who has a food fight page that would love to do a hot dog eating contest.
I was like, if Nathan's can do it, so can I. So I'm actually working out the logistics now.
Please let me know about that,
It's going to be all over the Facebook and everything, but 100%. I'm working out the logistics a day. I honestly want to do 4 different categories, like a 3 to 5 year old, and then
can I be in that category?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's perfect.
And then go all the way up to I think it was 17 to question mark.
Oh, I would love to do it.
And have 4 different categories. The winner gets a gift certificate to the restaurant. And the only flack I've really honestly gotten is people are questioning the 3 to 5 year olds.
Why?
Because the choking hazard.
That's ridiculous. They'll be fine.
But that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Everyone has to find something.
I train 5-year-olds to choke other 5-year-olds. They'll be fine.
Different type of choking.
They're like my throat hurts. I'm like, because you didn't tap. You didn't tap. Did I spend 2 minutes explaining to you what this means, and this means, and this means? You know what I mean?
I honestly think the biggest age bracket that I'm going to get the most competitors is at 13 to 17.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all, like my 2 dishwashers are sophomores.
Yeah, they're all little
So I'm going to get all
savages.
their little friends. And so we're honestly thinking of doing a hot dog eating contest.
Who's going to be your MC?
I don't know.
I could do that.
I don't know. Maybe.
Please.
I would
love to be your MC or just a competitor or just be somewhat, just to be there to hang out.
I honestly just put it out on Facebook as a poll.
Yeah. No, I love it.
And I got more people are willing to watch than compete, but I'm sure if I pushed a point, I can probably get a competitive.
Hot dog tour's been, I'm 12 episodes in my hot dog tour, so I'm ready for some hot dog reviews.
Yeah.
You got anything else over there, Matt? Where's everyone come see you at the Matt Family Bistro in Shickshinny, Pennsylvania?
Moss Family Farm and Bistro, 15 North Main Street in Shickshinny, right off of Route 11.
Beautiful ride. If you're coming down from the valley this way, from Kingston, Wilkes-Barre, Route 11. Right, is it Route 11?
Yep.
So Route 11, beautiful drive.
Once you get through Edwardsville,
it's all the way down.
Beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful ride. I was there a few weeks ago. Me and Matt's episode is going to be coming out the week. Should be fucking listening to this. I don't know why I'm telling somebody that's already listened to it. So hopefully you enjoyed the food reviews that I showed earlier this week from the Bistro. Go check it out. We have some great items here today. I wish I didn't overeat on my Foods of PA food, but I mean, I know Brian and the rest of the staff here at Conversion Work Studio is going to take care of this food. We appreciate you bringing it in.
My pleasure.
I'm bringing my chili and my tortellini salad home. I have no food in my house. I didn't go to the store this week, so boom. I don't have to go overpay for some prepared foods, which I knew was bullshit coming from your mouth yourself. That is overpriced, but everything was great. Porchetta sandwich coming with me for lunch. And Matt, thank you so much for being on Food Fight.
Thank you for having me.
All right. My name is Brian DiMattei. I want to thank all of my listeners, and I want to thank all of my sponsors who help keep the show alive every day. Everyone's support through the last process of the last few months of switching things around, and Food Fight just keeps the momentum going, and we have new episodes coming out every week. Matt from Matt's family. I always fuck up names, Matt. Moss's Family's Farms Bistro. I say that right?
Moss Family Farm Bistro. Yep. Close enough.
I appreciate you coming on, Matt. I appreciate the food.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Food Fight. All right, brother.
Thank you.
Good episode. Nice.